here's a quick review and comparison between the Tudor Pelagos 39 and my Tudor BlackBay 58 GMT. So I've had both of these about a year now. Really happy with both of them. To the untrained eye, very similar style, right? Diver style watches, but different functionality, different aesthetics, and I wanted to quickly go over each. So we'll start with the BlackBay 58 GMT. I do have the green bezel on it. It's from Steel Reef. I still like the Coke bezel, but I feel like this green gives it such a cool look. It reminds me of the Harrods edition. Now, the watch wears really well on my 6.7-inch wrist. I'll just show that now. Wearing my IWC today. So 39mm watch. Here's how it wears. Very well. So what do you get with this watch? So vintage inspired, think 5-digit Rolexes and beyond. Now you do get GMT functionality. You have a date. You have the gilt on the dial and the bezel. Now a lot of people weren't fans of this when it came out. Some people were saying it'd be great if these numerals on the bezel were white, but I think gilt really gives it a more vintage look and additionally separates it from its big brother Rolex. You have some polished sides. You have brushed top and bracelet. The bracelet is very comfortable, feels really nice against your skin. You have a micro adjust here on the fly, and this clasp, a lot shorter than the Pelagos, really makes this wear so well in the summer, in the winter. And I think this is the versatile piece. So if you're looking for something to wear to work, but also on the weekend, I think this does it all. It's a little bit more flashier than the Pelagos here, but I think overall this would be a great one watch collection. Now, comparing the Pelagos 39, this is the modern iteration of the Tudor Submariner. So you could see the indices on the Pelagos are a lot more chunkier than the indices on the BlackBay. Same with the hands, a lot thicker and chunkier, just like Rolex moved away from the kind of thinner cases, thinner indices and hands, and went chunkier. You're seeing the same kind of thing here. A lot more of a tool. So where Rolex stepped away from the tool, became more luxury and jewelry, this still feels like a tool watch. Matte titanium, hides scratches very well. I do like how scratches look on titanium, but it hides them very well. The bezel action is fantastic on this one. I think probably my favorite of any watch in terms of the bezel action and the sound. I like how in a lot of lights this watch looks matte, but if you hit direct sunlight, the sunburst and then the brushed bezel, they really hit the light and shine, which I think sets it apart nicely from the FXD line. I wore this watch all summer. It's fantastic. It'll go under the radar, but it's still a really nice watch. Very light. So on those hot summer days where wearing something a little heavier is a little bit more fatiguing, this feels like you're not really wearing anything at all. Very comfortable. I do like it on rubber straps. I think the bracelet is great. I'm not a fan of the diver's extension, but on the rubber straps, I think it just gives the watch a little bit more character, a little bit more purpose. So I have the OEM black strap. I also have an orange Zealand. I do recommend the Zealand. It's a lot more comfortable than the OEM strap. I think I have it on the OEM because I really like the look. I like the look with these end links. It's very specific to this watch and I would say Rolex as well. But the OEM strap is stiff, so it does break in after a while. However, it's very grippy, so moving the catchers here isn't very easy, and I would say, you know, the rubber isn't very soft. Even after it breaks in, it does get a little softer, but I wish it was a little bit softer, kind of like the KFM rubber options from Zealand or some of the other brands. Overall, wears really well. Highly recommend this watch. Very symmetrical. That pop of red adds a little bit of something. I've noticed it goes well even with an orange strap because that red isn't so, you know, so noticeable right away. It almost could pass as orange, so it works with orange straps, red straps. Bracelet is great. I think on the bracelet it looks a bit more plain, but this is a great watch. So I would say between the two, you know, you have a bidirectional bezel, GMT functionality, and a date here. Bezel action is really good here too. I would say Pelagos a bit better. That may have to do with the fact that, you know, this is bidirectional, unidirectional. If you wanted to watch a great summer watch that's in your collection, very purposeful, I'd go with the Tudor. I recently been watching Lone Wolf on Amazon, and the chief protagonist wears a 42 Pelagos and it looks really cool. If you want something that's leaning towards a one watch collection, GMT functionality, date, great bezel, great bracelet, on the fly adjustment, you can't really go wrong with this one. And if you like that vintage look, definitely recommend the BlackBay 58 GMT. I would say they've improved pretty much everything from the regular BlackBay 58 with the clasp, and then you also have, you know, smaller hands, that smaller triangle. Overall, great watch. Thank you.